welcome back to my channel. My name is Savannah if you're new here. And so for today's video, I was going to show you guys how I get my full face of makeup and give you a step-by-step in-depth tutorial on how I achieve everything I do really, because I tend to get a lot of questions about how I do things and if there's a simpler way and how people can do something quick but still look really good and like you tried. And I'm gonna try to achieve that for you guys today. So hope you enjoy. So the first thing I do every time I do my makeup is I put my hair back, and I always go in with a primer, no matter what. It doesn't matter if I'm going to be doing a simple look, a really dramatic look, it doesn't matter. I always prime my face. And I do that because it's just inevitably going to make makeup go on your skin better, and it's going to make your makeup last longer if you use certain primers. And it really just gives you a clean canvas that you could work with, and it definitely helps. The primer I went in was MAC Strobe Cream in Pink Light. I like this primer a lot because it gives a very dewy look, but it has a little bit of a stick. And what I've learned over time is that primers that make your skin feel a little sticky or dewy helps a lot more with the longevity of your makeup, because it's just like glue. If you stick something to glue, it's gonna last. And if you stick your makeup to a plain face, it's not gonna last as long as if there's something underneath the makeup. Next, I go in with foundation, and foundation definitely depends on your skin type. The first thing you should do before ever even buying a foundation is learn your skin type. I personally am very combination. I'm very oily in my T-zone, but I get dry in my surrounding areas, especially around my mouth. So I like to use a foundation that is not too dewy or not too matte. And the one I really like is the Smashbox Studio Skin 15-Hour Hydrating Foundation. I find it to be very lightweight, where it doesn't really emphasize my dry patches, but it also doesn't make me oily, so that's why I really like it. Now you could either go in with a sponge or a brush. I personally like using a sponge just because I think the application goes on a little bit more full coverage. If you don't like as much full coverage, you can go in with a brush. The one I really like is the It Cosmetics, I don't really know what it's called, but their foundation brush. It's really good. It doesn't leave any streaky marks or anything, and I really found that it puts on my foundation really well, but it does give you that lighter coverage. And for today's video, I'd like a little bit more of a full coverage look. Not full coverage, but enough coverage that you feel comfortable wearing this day or night. Doesn't really matter. Now once I have my full face on, as you could see, it gives you like a little bit of a shine, but it's dry. It's such a good foundation, and I really suggest it if you have combination skin especially, but also it really works for any skin type. I really like it. And after I blend that all in, I go in with concealer. And the concealer I'm really loving right now is the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. It's another very, not lightweight, it gives you the full coverage, but it doesn't feel like you have a ton of makeup on. And I just like to put it under my eyes, down the bridge of my nose, and on my chin, just to give me that highlighted effect. Now that I blended in my concealer into my foundation, you could see it really gives a flawless look, and it doesn't feel cakey or heavy at all, because I really hate how that does feel. That's why you have to go for lightweight full coverage foundations. I've learned that they last on your skin a lot better. They don't get cakey around your nose, your smile lines, under your eyes. And that was my biggest problem before. I think I was using way too matte foundations, because the more matte it is, the more your skin cakes up. And even if you have oily skin, don't be afraid to use a more luminous foundation or a hydrating foundation, because it doesn't get you as oily as you would believe, and you can always do touch-ups, and it's better to look like you have skin versus just straight powder or straight dryness, in my opinion. Next, I go in with a powder under my eyes just so my concealer doesn't crease, and I really like the Wet n Wild contour palette. It's double-sided, it's super cheap, and honestly it's the best under eye powder I think I've ever used. And I just use small amounts right underneath my eyes, and I bring it down to where I had my concealer. And I just bring that across on both sides. And this does add a little bit of coverage, so if you're looking for that, that helps a lot. And if you want to go in with more or less, it'll do the job. Next, I go in with highlight. Now, highlight is something that people either love or hate, I feel like. I personally love highlight. I think it really gives a glow to your face if you use it the right way and put it in the right spots. Sometimes you definitely can go overboard with highlight. I know that firsthand, trust me. But I like the one from Wet n Wild again. This one's in Precious Petals. It's just a very peachy golden highlight, and I just go in and tap off the excess because this is pretty pigmented. I'll show you guys. With a few swipes, it really gives you that glow. But the reason why I like this one is because it's super natural and it really gives you just a sheen versus a straight bold highlight. You know what I mean? I like to put some on my chin, down the bridge of my nose, and right on my forehead to give me that glow right there, right in the center, and on the tip of my nose. Now it may look like a ton right now, but I promise you when you put your bronzer and your blush, it all kind of meshes together. Next, I like to go in with blush. I use Clinique's Peach Pop in number 2. It's a really pinky orangey shade. It looks really bright, but I promise it's not. I just go in with a little bit and tap off the excess. And I like to put it at the almost where I put my highlight, at the very top of my cheeks and right in the center of my cheek. I like to smile, do a creepy smile, and just get it right there. It just gives you that perfect pop of color and pop of life back into your face, and it's not too much, it's not too little. I think it's the perfect shade and really, really good for a blush. Next, I go in with bronzer, and my favorite all-time bronzer is Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula. As you can see, it's very well loved, and it's just overall really amazing. It also smells amazing. I think that's why I keep buying it. Not really, because I love how it formulates on your face. But I go in with the same brush I use as my blush, and I swirl around, tap off the excess, and just really, really go around the perimeter of my face and all around. I like a really bronzed look, especially in the summer, and a really sun-kissed look as well. This bronzer is really, really good though for every day and going out. It's the perfect shade for my skin tone. I also bring it around my neck just because you don't want your face to be too much darker than the rest of your body. Now that the face is done, you can see it's a really glowy, summery look especially. I love the combination of the products I used. I think it gives just a perfect your skin but better look and natural while still giving you that full coverage effect. Now I'm going to go in with my brows, and I use Wet n Wild's Micro Brow Pencil. I use the shade, it doesn't say, but it's a light brown. I just brush my brows up first. And then I'll zoom you in a little bit. I like to do a simple brow look. I don't like it to be too much. I'll just go right underneath. And I really follow my own brow shape. I don't like to make them too much bigger or too much smaller. I'll just follow it all throughout. Now for the front of the brow, that's where you want it to look the best in my opinion. I like to use the very, very point and just draw hair-like lines up my brow instead of going across in a very, very light motion, and it gives you that natural brow look. As you can see, it just makes it look a little bit more natural. You can see this one's definitely more filled in, more shaped, but it still doesn't look like a crazy brow in my opinion. Now I just did the same thing on the other side. Like I said, I just like to do those light brush strokes right there just to give it a natural look and keep it all together while still looking put together. Next I go in with my eyes, and today I'm going to be using the Morphe 35O palette. I really like this palette. It's very versatile. It has the bronze shades that I use personally the most. I'm a bronze girl. I love brown, I love orange, I love reds. I think it really suits my eye color personally. But again, it varies from person to person. Whatever color suits you the best, I think would be a perfect color for your day-to-day go-to look. I like to do the basic ombre effect. I do a lighter color on top, a darker color in the crease, and an even darker color on the outside. It depends what you like. If you like something simple, you could always just go in with one shade all over the lid. I do that almost every day, but if you're looking for something a little more in depth or a little more like you try just a little harder, like I said, you could go in with lighter, darker, and darker. That's how I learned, and that's how I'll show you guys. First, I'm going to go in with this orangey shade. It's just like a dark orange, and I'm going to put that at the very top of my crease in sliding motions, but going upward. You don't want to drag it down too much because then the color will start to get darker as you go down, and that's not the color that you're going to want right there. So like I said, just back and forth motions all over the very, very top above your crease, and bring that all the way from left to right across your eye. Now I'm going to go in with an even darker shade with a smaller tapered brush, and I'm just going to put that on the outside and in the crease halfway. So I'll start right here, right at the corner, bring it over there, and almost tap it in. Tap, 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 blend. Tap, 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 blend. And that gives you that flawless blend with the crease shade and your outer quarter shade. Now when I'm done with that, I'll go back into the first shade and kind of just emphasize back where I started, just to give it a good blend overall. And I'll literally go over every single shadow and blend it out just so that all the colors mesh together and it gives that flawless blend. As you can see, that literally took maybe 5 minutes to get both of the eyes done, get a simple blend, 3 colors, and it gives you a look like you tried, but with a perfect blend, and you know, it gives you a look. Next, I just use that first shade that I used for my top of my lid, and I just go under the eye and just mesh the 2 colors together just to give more contour and emphasis to my eyes. Make sure you're meshing it together right in the outer corner, and it just gives you a little bit of a more smoky look if that's what you're looking for. If not, you could totally skip this step. Now if you're wearing this maybe for a night out or you just want to look a little more glam, you could always add some sort of shimmer in the front of your crease. I like to do it right here and just bring it a quarter of a way up and just use my finger, because your fingers are honestly your best tools, and just do a little sheen right there, and it just kind of gives you that pop that you'd like, and bring it in the corner of my eye a little bit, but it just gives you that little bit more of like you tried, or a little bit more glam. Then I just use the same brush I was using and kind of just mesh everything back together so we don't have any harsh lines. Now you can either go in with liner or you don't have to do liner. Personally, I am an eyeliner girl. I love my wing, I love everything about it, but I know a lot of people don't. So it definitely depends on you, but I do like to do a cat eye, and I use the Maybelline Master Precise All Day Liquid Liner. This is the mini one. It has the perfect little tip, and it just really makes that sharp line. Now that I got my top liner on, I like to use a waterproof gel liner, and I like to put that right on my top waterline just so that it meshes my lashes and my eyeliner together, and it gives it kind of more of a all-together look. Now I go in with mascara. Now I literally just found this mascara maybe earlier this week. It's the Milani Most Wanted Lashes. It is probably the best mascara I've ever used in my life. Not even just drugstore, but best high-end any mascara I've ever used in my life. This is so amazing. It lasts so long, and it makes my lashes look so long, so full, everything. I highly recommend this mascara. As you can see, it really just gives me length and volume, and it's so pretty and so flattering. Now I'm just going to do a little bit of lips. I personally like to use just a little bit of a lip liner and a gloss. I think that's a perfect go-to. I usually do that even when I go out. I don't really like super dark lips on myself. I don't like really full lips. It's just a personal preference. So I go in with the Wet n Wild Gel Lip Liner in Bare to Commit. And I just go under and over, but I overline the top of my lip just a little bit just to make it look a little more full. And then I'm just gonna go in with this Essence lip gloss. I don't know the shade, sorry. And I think that that's just like a perfect pinky shade. It kind of just goes with the eyes perfectly. It's not too much. It definitely wears, and when it wears, it still looks super pretty. I really like how it comes together at the end of the day. And now for the final and best step, I use Morphe Continuous Setting Spray just to set my face. This is super important for longevity of your makeup, everything, just setting all your powders in place. I love setting spray. And that is it, you guys. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I hope that you like and subscribe so I could post more and maybe give you guys some more tips and tricks that I've learned along the way of my makeup journey. And if you like this, give it a thumbs up, please, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye!